Welcome back to the Let's Glow Show. And if you are into style, if you're into magazines, writing, articles, journalism, the whole creative gambit, then this episode is for you. It's Amanda Sweet, the creative fairy godmother, and I help people get fly, make friends, and save the world through community. And one of the ways we do that is on this show, the Let's Glow Show, where we talk to creative entrepreneurs every single week. And we have a beautiful guest today, as you can see, and as you may have read in your favorite magazine, we have Darralynn Hutson to the Let's Glow Show stage. Yay! Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to
Thank you,
have you
thank you,
here.
thank you. I
All
just
right.
have to tell you, Amanda, I love your energy.
Thank you.
There's no one like you.
You know what? You reached out to me to do an interview, I don't know, a couple years back.
Maybe, yeah, 3
2
years
years,
ago.
something years ago, and I was like, "Oh my god, this woman wants to interview me. I need to tell her, like, what do I do with my hands?" Like, I think before then, I've been working with peers who have publications or peers that have platforms, but you were one of the first people that was like, "I want to interview you," and I was like, "I don't know who this person is," and I looked you up, and I was like, "Oh my god, this
And
woman
look
is
at you now.
oh," but it's thanks to people like you who see people like me and create spaces for people like me that are so important and special in the fashion, entertainment, startup ecosystem. Like, we couldn't do it without you. So thank you for creating the platform that you have. And tell all of the beautiful people what the platform is, because you wear many beautiful, gorgeous hats.
Thank
So
you so much. Thank you. Well, as you said before, I am a freelance journalist. I've been writing for magazines from Italian Vogue to the Detroit Free Press. I've been doing it over 25 years. And wow, I started in entertainment, but now I write about business and travel and experiences. I've been doing this for so long. And I just love meeting great people doing really awesome things. And you're just one of those people. I started following you on Instagram. And when I see people that look like me and represent me, I just gravitate to it. And you're so stylish and so funky and so authentic. I said, I need to meet her. I gotta tell her story. So I just kind of live my life doing that, and
okay, but have you always been like this? Or is this like, this was like, I'm going down this career path and this is the platform I'm going to build? Like, how did you get to this version of you? I know that's a long story to ask for, but
um, I I am and have always been an only child, so I had to entertain myself. I didn't have the brothers and sisters, even though I have a million cousins, but it started from really entertaining myself, and I entertained myself by reading and writing. This is, of course, back before internet and when we watched TV 24/7. But I used to write short stories, and that's really where I started. I found a joy and a peace in kind of expressing myself through words, and I got really, really good at it. I
mhm.
became the family writer. I became, oh, Dee Dee, write this or write that, or, do this, do that, write that up, write that up. And I was like, oh, okay, I can get paid to do this. And that's kind of how I started in school, writing for newspapers and writing stories. Yeah.
I love that. And you said before the internet, but if you had the internet, you'd probably be like blogger, vlogger, doing all of those things at that young age. I love that.
I don't know. Like I keep saying, I'm old school. I used to really be into magazines. So I don't know if I would still been into magazines had the internet existed, because that's kind of where I saw myself outside of Detroit, where I saw lives and people doing things outside of the city of Detroit. And it just opened my mind to the rest of the world in a magazine, if you can believe it. Yeah.
I can, because there was a time in my adolescence where it's like we were waiting every week for the next magazine issue to come out, whether it was, no matter what subscription you had, and you wanted to talk to your friends and which magazine were they reading and which posters did they get and what stories were
Yes. The
fun and
posters. Remember posters used to come in magazines, right?
my
We're old.
entire room filled, not a single speck of white seen. It was like collage on top of collage, entire room. And this is a funny story. I remember So like the first CD I ever bought with my own money that I earned from babysitting was a Destiny's Child CD. And
Oh
then
my
after I got
God.
that CD, I was like, okay, I am a CD girly. I asked my mom and my dad for like a stereo system. I got this like cute blue metallic, that 2000 something metallic blue.
Yes.
And I was buying myself all these CDs, and I found so I had from one of my magazines a big old poster of Vin Diesel, and my mom enjoyed
Not
that.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel. My mom was like, she enjoyed it, right? She was like, this is great. I love this. Your room is adorable. I got the 50 Cent CD, his first album. And in that
With
poster,
the cuts in his chest. Yeah. I
he's got the
remember.
guns in the holsters, right? And then I'm blasting the 50 Cent CD
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for the whole house to hear. And my mom walks in and it's up right next to Vin Diesel, and she's like, we're gonna have to take this all down. I'm like,
She didn't like 50. Yeah, she didn't like 50.
well, she didn't like all that. Yeah, because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was like, how I was a teenager, I was young, and like what he was rapping about, and the guns and I was like, I was like, Mom, you just don't like how muscly he is, and I was like, I do. Let me leave it up. Anyway, it was a very funny story. I was just like,
So my daughter, she has to print. She goes online and she finds print pictures on Instagram and Pinterest, and she'll use my printer and all of my ink to print out pictures and then put them on her wall.
I read about this thing called FedEx. You could do,
Girl.
but that was definitely a time that was like an experience of the magazine. So I totally get it. I'm wondering what your thoughts are for people that are interested in journalism today. Young folks going to school. There's a lot of like talk about old school media, coming out of fashion, coming back into fashion. What advice would you give to our young journalists?
Oh, wow. I'm gonna go back to when I started. When I started, it was all about getting validation and getting accepted. It's kind of like being an actor, right? You go after all these auditions and say, please pick me, pick me, give me an opportunity. 2025 in journalism and storytelling is completely different, right? You have a story, you have so many platforms to tell that story, you have so many ways to get your story out. You don't need permission from Vogue. You don't need permission from the Detroit Free Press. You don't need permission from any of those editors or media outlets anymore to tell your story, right?
Mhm.
So, my advice would be if to have something to say, which is super hard. You know that's hard, Amanda, because when we're growing up, we want to be a part of so many other groups. My advice is to find your voice, find what it is that you're passionate about, finding what it is that you like to tell stories about, and tell those stories on these different platforms that you have access to, whether that's social media, whether it's something like Medium, where you can post your own articles. Um, I would advise them to build their resume, build their portfolio with storytelling. Um,
Mhm.
before you start pitching and applying in jobs, things like that, because you can be in high school and create an audience for yourself so that by the time you graduate, you you are getting paid based on that audience.
Yeah.
You're not getting paid on the fact that you're a good storyteller or the fact that you are really talented at telling stories.
Mm.
You're getting paid based on the fact that you created a community of an audience of readers.
Mhm.
Something very similar to what you did, Amanda. I mean, you never asked for permission to create this community. You just did it.
Yeah.
And it's super scary. It's super hard. It's the hardest part, which is what I tell my daughter, is realizing what it is that you want to say. That's the
Yeah.
hardest part. So take the time, energy by yourself alone to decide what it is that you want to say. That's it. That's my advice. Because once you decide, the world is the world, not just Detroit, the world. Yeah.
Oh, and I think you're speaking to my soul right now because I feel like I'm at this, and I've been talking about this on the show for a while. Like I'm at a crossroads where I have to make a couple more decisions and get a little bit more clear about what I'm saying and what I'm doing. And for those of us that are in a career, because it sounds like you went from style and now you're moving to like travel and business, you were like, I'm going to talk about style and fashion. How did you make that transition?
Oh my God, I did not get into fashion until 10 years ago when I went to my very first New York Fashion Week. This year will be my 10-year anniversary. You know who I'm interviewing, which I'm super excited about? Denise Boudreaux. Do you know who Denise Boudreaux is?
Her name sounds
You
so
might
familiar.
know her because she is the former girlfriend of Lil Wayne. They just had a crazy breakup online, but she's a model. She's a plus size model. She kind of came out with Ashley Graham. Ashley Graham kind of blew
Mhm.
up. But
Yeah.
Lisa Boudreaux is a plus size model. I interviewed her in her first New York Fashion Week. She was in Ashley Graham's fashion show. And we're doing a 10-year anniversary. So I'm kind of following her. She's going back to New York Fashion Week. But I didn't start doing fashion until 2015. Before that, it was all entertainment. It was all movies and film and music because that was my passion. When I was growing up, I loved to find out what Heavy D was doing or find out what
Mhm.
Janet Jackson was doing or Mariah Carey. Like I was very much into entertainment. But as I grew and I matured and I got more interested in business and fashion and all of those things, I was privileged to be able to kind of expand my portfolio into other subjects. Um, but her name is Francesca. She was the editor in chief of Italian Vogue at the time. She started a microsite called V Black and V Curvy, and
Hmm.
they were just for Black content, just for curvy content. And that's how I got an opportunity to start writing about fashion. I know
Oh,
there's a long way to go around.
no, that's beautiful. And it's a really, it's a sign of the times because I can feel the energy of that era of fashion when plus size fashion was really like in vogue and it was the new hotness, but it was also like
Right.
talking about the like issues with equity within the modeling and fashion industry was also very.
Absolutely.
And like for whatever reason, I decided recently to bring the plus size posing workshops back. A couple reasons were because people were asking for them, but there was a
Of
time
course.
when I came out into social media and like being a plus size anything was very popular, and it's kind of like not gone away, but it's not
It
as
shifted.
it's shifted 100%.
Yeah,
But
it shifted.
era that you're talking about that I can just like it's palatable. I can think, I can feel it, I can see the graininess of it, like I can see
Yeah.
the aesthetic of it. And like I'm wondering, as a Black plus size creator, where do you find yourself right now? Is that and also somebody that saw that and now in 2025, where would you put yourself
I
if
don't
you
pitch plus size stories anymore because no one's buying them, right?
Mhm. Yep.
It's called body equity, body positivity, it's plus size is out, right? That
Yeah.
whole term, that term is out. Um, so I pitch stories about people. I pitch authentic stories about that's why I wanted to come and talk to you and get in your space and be in your energy. I really, and again, it's a privilege. Don't get me wrong. A lot of writers don't get the opportunity to do that.
Mm.
Journalism now can really be sitting in front of your laptop 12 hours a day, researching on the phone, on Zooms. But I'm very privileged to be a journalist to write about experiences. I like to go out and experience people. I like to go out and experience things. Very, very privileged. I will say that, very lucky. Um, so I guess the conversations that I'm having now are really about because I'm talking to more mature people. I'm not talking to a lot of young Gen X's or Gen Z's about how to really be your authentic self. How do
Mm.
you find out what you want to do? How do you really push what it is that you want to do passionately forward? And those to me have been the center of my stories um, that I'm writing for, like Ebony Magazine, Essence Magazine, that I just written for the last 2 months. They're really about people finding their authentic selves. And sometimes it doesn't always look pretty. Sometimes, you have those celebrities are like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm living my best life. Well, what are you doing last year when you said you were living your best life? And what about 2 years ago when that was your best life? So
Yeah.
I'm finding those type of really authentic stories are the ones that my editors are really drawn to.
Mhm.
Sometimes those stories involve me, which is super different. because
Yeah.
they're like, "Well, how did you feel about sitting in an audience, at a Telfar, at a Gucci, and all of the people around you are white and size 0. How do you feel?" Editors have never asked me those type of stories before.
Mm.
So, I'm going into my 50s now, so those type of experiences, are very challenging for me because it's like, no one's ever asked me how I feel. So it's a great time to be a journalist. But if you go into journalism not knowing what you want to say, not knowing what you want to do, you'll be like a feather in the wind. You'll be
Mm.
tossed here and there, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's again, I keep saying my advice is figure out what it is that you want to do. You can change. You,
Yeah.
you you know, you don't have to stay the same. Like you and I, we started one
Oh,
place and we
yeah.
try this and be like, okay, this is my footing. I like this. So yeah.
I love that. I'm kind of
Yeah.
curious about like what you're learning through being you through now your story being centered as part of your work. What are you learning about yourself, authenticity? What are you hearing? What can you share with us from that journey that you have?
Nothing that no one else is nothing different than what anyone else is saying, Amanda. It's like, why the hell did I hold back for so long? Why did I tell myself I couldn't do this for so long? Why haven't I done this for so long? I used to sit, there are a lot of freelance journalists that are traveling the world, making a lot of money. And I used to look at those folks 10 years ago and be like, damn, I wish I could
Mm,
travel the world and write about art. You know what I mean? And I'm doing that shit now. Like now, I wish I would have done. I'm in my 50s. I wish I would have been doing it in my 40s. Some of the
mm,
stuff that I'm doing now, but I just really say if you can dream it, if you think you can do it, then get your community of people together to get together to do it.
yes.
Because you don't need permission anymore and you don't need the money and you don't need the support. All you need is the goal and the drive. That's it. That's
Mm,
all you need. Just even looking at people like you that have started a community because I too want to start a community of writers and journalists and help these kids to say, hey, you can do this. You can be a journalist. You don't have to go into sales. You don't have to go into this. You don't have to go into that. You can be a journalist. It doesn't have to look like what it looked like 10 or even 5 years ago. You
mhm.
can do it. But it's been hard. It's hard. And
What
to see people like you building a community the way that you have, you inspire me. Yeah.
hmm. So we're gonna talk about this class because I need to see that
Okay.
happen. Like, what is hard about it? What do you feel like you need to do to get there?
Be an example.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, I know you mentally and strategically said, I'm going to start showing up on Instagram this way. I'm going to start showing up. That to me is hard.
Mm,
I have to come from behind the laptop. I have to come from behind and I have to step in front. And stepping in front is speaking more about what I do, having more opportunities to say, you can be a journalist, doing more classes, doing more workshops, being a mentor to more kids, having more opportunities where I can bring writers together so that we can kind of feed off of each other's energy. That's what it takes. It takes kind of like constant community building, babysitting, saying you can do it, right?
we need that though. Like at all phases of our career, we need somebody to be like rah 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 because like you keep referring to my community. I feel like every day I'm like I'm not doing enough. Like I
What?
feel this like push and pull. It's a push and pull. It's this like I see the vision of where I want this to go. I see how far it's come. I'm grateful for that. Privileged, lucky, worked really hard to make it what it is today. But I see all the flaws. So I'm like, I need to be here. So I'm somewhere in here. And someone like you to come in at any stage of anybody's like journalism journey to be like, get it going. Just do the thing is so important. And
But
like,
people hate me for that.
they
My
don't hate,
mentees hate me for that.
they hate it because they need it.
They hate it.
They hate
They
it
hate it.
because that's exactly because going after your dreams, going for anything that you want in life is hard. And doing absolutely nothing that's in alignment with your dreams is also hard. Like it's a challenge to exist out loud, And I think that is like if we can push through
Oh my
some of
God, I love that. Can we put that on a t-shirt or a book?
that.
It's a
I
challenge to exist out loud.
it
Abso-freaking-lutely.
is. It is, but it
Abso-freaking-lutely.
gets when you're surrounded by people like you, when I'm surrounded with people like you who are going for it anyway, and other people in our community who are going for it anyway, it makes it just a little bit easier, and
It does, but it also can sometimes feel like they're a good 60% of the time and that I'm working, and I'm not talking about the times where I'm doing panels or I'm in conversation, engaging with other people, but that's 60% of the time where I'm alone, where I'm sitting in front of my laptop or I'm on the phone or I'm by myself. Those times can feel very lonely and like I'm in this alone. I'm doing this by myself. Oh, I don't have any help. So I know how it feels. So I try to consistently and religiously and disciplined to reach out to my mentees on a regular basis. What are you doing? Are you doing this? Did you get that? That's the part that they hate. They want to call me and say, oh, no. They want to call and vent and talk for 2 hours. But I'm like, okay, what did you do? Get that list out. That's the discipline, that's the part that's hard. That's the part that's challenging, right? Everybody want to kumbaya when things are great, but
Yep.
that's 60% when you're by yourself, nobody is saying doing it. You have to be what you need someone else to be, right? It's like
Mhm.
in a relationship. I need the love, but you got to give the love to get the love.
Yes. Yes. I feel that because I'm finally in this like part-time position and I'm, doing more and more freelance work and I'm like I need to show up for myself. Like I need to and I'm feeling the loneliness. I feel the loneliness piece,
It's
which is
there. It's a
why I'm
part of
like
it. It's a
I'm
part
like,
of it.
okay, if I get up and get dressed and go somewhere, but I'm a as those would say out in the internet world, a certified yapper. So I definitely can get distracted outside, but inside I'm yapping in here. So I'm like,
Yeah,
what's going to
you're
give me the
talking
most?
to yourself. I do too.
Yeah, I'm talking
And
to myself.
it's good conversations and bad. It's both.
Yep,
It's both.
exactly. But I find when I'm out in public or with a group and we're like, oh, we're going to all co-work together, for example, like co-working is such a blessing for people like us because I'm like, I just
Wish
need
I
to be
would have
here.
known about it 10 years ago.
Same, same.
You know how
I
many offices I've set up in my apartment. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do. And by week 2, I'm just like,
in the
I was
kitchen
gonna be
again.
here by myself,
How,
right?
how come I'm always in the kitchen? Like I made bread.
Why? Why
I
am I always
made bread.
asking somebody to come over and be with me
That that is the
when I
realest
need to be
thing.
working?
I'm like, what you doing? They're like, I'm at work. You want to come over? Like, girl, I'm at work.
Right? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm supposed to be working.
I'm working too, but I would like to work with you. Is what I'm trying to say.
You don't know until you go through these things. Like I just started doing the co-working space literally maybe 3 years ago since I came to your spot. So I didn't even realize the advantages of co-working. Because I used to build every time I would move, it's not tears, it's sweat. But every
Oh
time I would move, I would do this big thing about setting up my office. You know what I mean? And after the second week, girl, I wouldn't even want to be in there.
no,
So, yeah, the
I'm right here with
community is so important, especially for creatives. Creatives often work alone. I used to be married to an editor. Like he would
you.
spend hours and hours in the dark, right? But things have changed. Things are different. We can get out now. We have to commune with each other. It's so important. That's another piece of advice, especially for writers. Writers tend to constantly be alone. They
Mm,
go through their ideas and their stories in their own head, and when they voice it out, um, when they speak these things out, you get more clarity, you get more understanding, you get really great feedback. So, yeah, that's another piece of advice. Absolutely.
We got to I mean, and community love is something that we don't talk about enough when it comes to like love. We talk about romantic love, we talk about friendship love, we talk about
Mhm.
love for our neighbor and things like that. But like communal love is really required, needed, and necessary. And it wasn't something that I really understood more clearly until I really got into the revamp and started seeing the impact. But I still, like, I'll leave a clothing swap with like hundreds of people and then feel immediately lonely. And I'm like, wait, was I not just with 400 people? And I'm like, okay, we need to figure out
It's
how to.
kinda like getting high and coming down from a
That
high.
that is definitely part of it, is like the dopamine hit of hosting an event where you're like, you're on the ultimate high, you're doing everything, you're busy, you're inundated with work, and then it's over, right? So that is a real part of it. But like,
Yeah.
I was like, I just need to be around my people. And our shoot's on Saturday, and I'm like, my body, my energy cannot wait for it. I'm like, I need to just like look and see all of us together creating, being people stepping out of their comfort zones. Like that is a, if, when I say create a fairy godmother, like I do feel like a mother sometimes. I'm like, these are my babies. Even if people in the
Absolutely.
community are like 72, 63, 17, I'm just like, this is like my little baby. Like this group is like, but we need it. And we don't realize how much we need it.
And yeah, I never knew. I never kn especially, again, as a writer, journalist, it just inevitably you think alone, you think and a lot of writers and journalists are. I tell the kids that I mentor, there's so many different avenues that you can go in as a writer. I mean, I am writing now. One of my clients is the Kellogg Foundation. I would have never thought to pitch them storytelling, but I just got dried up with making 3 and 4 and $500 per article. I wanted to start making thousands of dollars. So I started pitching my stories to brands, which was a whole nother revolution just to sustain my business. But I kind of tell my mentees now, you have to get outside of your circle. You have to go outside. You have to start meeting people in other industries. Publishing is great. I still love publishing, but I don't make a lot of money from magazines. I write for magazines for the pure fun of it.
Yeah.
Um, but most of the money that I make are coming from corporate brands. I'm still writing. I'm
Yep.
still exercising my skill as a writer, but I am able to commune with people in other industries, which is, again, something that I just learned literally 4 years ago,
Wow.
4 or 5 years ago. So, yeah, the field of journalism is very expansive, but it's still very creative. It's
Yeah.
still a creative industry. So, yeah, community is really important. Getting out. I would love to try to figure out some type of writers group on a regular basis where we could get together
I got a
and
conference room that I can book for you whenever you
I
need.
yeah, because the only thing is when you put the word out writer, you get authors, you get journalists, you get
Yeah.
copywriters. So I have to be really specific on what type of writers I want to bring in because yeah, I'm not even writing it a lot anymore. I'm doing so much pitching and meeting and
Yeah.
so finding time to sit and write has been challenging as well. And I love to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I could see a little co-working journalist writer group hanging out at Bamboo. We can
No,
make
I
that
mean,
happen
yeah,
whenever
it's
you're ready.
needed.
Whenever you're ready. But I love the point that you said about storytelling. And I think when people think journalism, they stereotype it into like publication, but storytelling. I remember I went to school for media communications in TV and broadcasting.
Mhm.
My parents were like, okay, I guess. Like, as long as they're going to college, right? That kind of like, I don't know what you're gonna do for a living, but we were definitely pushed towards TV, news, and print.
Yeah, yeah.
And and seeing all of that, it was like, oh, I feel like this is weird that this is the only pipeline, but the world has
Mm,
changed to storytelling. Every
mm.
company, brand, organization needs really, really great storytelling. And you made a really
That
good,
part, that part. Yeah.
like, we don't have to.
Every single I was looking at, what's the guy that's running against Mary Sheffield, the for mayor, the preacher?
I can see his
Yeah, I
goatee.
can't remember his name too. That's terrible, right? But anyway, yeah, I was talking to I had a conversation because they wanted me to interview him, and I was like, "I'm not interested." But I was talking to
Mhm.
his publicist, and I was like, tell me about what the story is. What do you guys, what is the story? What is his story? And she was like, oh, he's running for mayor. He's been the preacher. Da, da, da. I was like, that's not the story. Everybody know that. But what's the story? She could not tell me. She was his publicist. And she could not tell me what his story was. And I was like, oh, okay. So you ain't gonna win. Like,
Right, right, right.
right. Because Mary, to me, again, if you're going to put yourself out in front of somebody, you have to have something to say. You have to have some type of story. You have to really engage people with how you've come over something, with how you've been challenged with something. You've been able to overcome it. So storytelling in every facet of your career, storytelling in every facet of your business, every brand needs some type of storytelling. Um, the smart ones, the smart companies will hire someone to tell those stories. So yeah, our skills as storytellers, as writers, yours as well, because you have the capacity of getting in front of a camera and being very authentic. I am still terrified that I'm going
You're
to be
doing great.
judged and ridiculed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so there are different forms and ways and platforms to tell stories, but we're very skilled in that because you're out there in the community. People don't know how to talk and communicate to each other. They have no idea what to say or how. So the fact that we can go up to anyone and say, "Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm Darralynn." You know what I mean? That is amazing. You can meet anyone in the world and say, "Hi," you know what I mean? Like, girl, do you know how many people wish?
But you just shared the key. You did it so quickly, simply, but you mastered what it is. Like you mastered the key to open every door. It's this.
Right. No, you got to get the smile.
Right. It's the literal, like, it's the you are putting yourself out there to be approached and interacted with. The smile, openness, and a welcoming, like, I wave at people all the time. I'm
That's
a
the key.
waver.
That's
That
the
is a
key in life.
literal key to open almost any door because that is universal. It doesn't require language. It's all body language. It's all energy. And if you just like,
Energy. Yeah.
and that is a hard
Can
thing
we
for,
bottle that and sell that at Walmart?
yes. But that my suggestion to folks out there, that if you feel challenged about like what your story is or how to approach people, try just smile and wave. Just smile and wave, boys. Just give it a try. Just give it a try. Oh my gosh.
And then hire a writer if you really challenge.
I
We're
got a great one
we're
who you can
affordable.
call.
We're affordable. We can help.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Our 30 minutes is already up. I have two
Yes.
final questions
Yes.
for you.
Okay.
One, where can people find you, read your work, follow your journey, all of that beautiful stuff?
So I have a website. It's called the Stylist Suite. It used to be called Darralynn Hutson, but if you put my name in there, the Stylist Suite will come up. I call my business the Stylist Suite. Don't ask me why, but I, I I named it Stylist Suite because I want you to come into a place and really see yourself at different angles, right? See yourself as a storyteller, see yourself as someone with skills, see yourself with something to say. So the Stylist Suite, at two S's in the middle, is where you can find my work, my mission in life, which is kind of to help people to tell their stories. But I'm also on every form of social media except TikTok, where I got kicked off. But Instagram, Darralynn Hutson, LinkedIn, Darralynn Hutson, Facebook, Darralynn Hutson. What else? Pinterest, Darralynn Hutson. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm all over.
And I'm
And
gonna
I'm very, very accessible, which is crazy because I respond to all DM. I do. I just respond because I just remember I'm one of those people, Amanda. I'm very disciplined when I try to stay connected to people. I just try to make sure I'm staying connected. I don't want months and months and months to go by. And you're like, Darralynn, who?
mm,
So I'm very good about, trying to stay connected to people. So that is the reason why I'm on social media, to connect with people. I don't have mechanisms by which to cut people off. I'm not that big. I'm not, because I'll send out pitches. I'll send out 20 pitches every Monday trying to reach the same people for like 5 or 6 months. So I know what it's like to be ignored. I know what it's like to constantly be trying to reach someone and all you want them to do is just freaking acknowledge you. So I will respond. I might not be able to help you, but I will respond and I'll try to do my best to see what I can do in assisting you and trying to find your voice. So
Oh, I love that.
everybody that reach out to me can't always afford to pay me,
Yeah,
but I am one. I will help. Yeah. I'm
that's
one of the
great.
people. I'm gonna help you. Yeah.
And even a point in the right direction is beautiful. And just never know what could come of that, of being like, you should talk to so and so, but you being willing to do that is beautiful.
The
And you,
conduit, the connector. Yes.
yes. Okay, the last question is, what's the last piece of advice that you want to leave our viewer today?
Oh, the last piece of advice.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good one. The last piece of advice. Mm, damn, Amanda, that's hard. Mm, um,
What if we focus that advice towards journalists that are entering into the industry?
mm. So what I'm promoting right now is strategy, creating a plan. You know how they tell you when you go into business, you have to have a business plan. And obviously you don't. We know a lot of people that have started businesses without one. We know people that run businesses without a plan. But I am an advocate, in my now that I'm at the age where I am, I'm an advocate of planning. I'm an advocate of creating strategies. Um, and I'm also an advocate for discipline. I know what it takes to be able to get somewhere if you do something every day. So if you need help, if you're launching something, if you're promoting something, if you need help creating a plan, I can be of help to you. But I'm just an advocate of writing down what you're going to do next week, what you're going to do in a month, what you're going to do 3 months from now, maybe 6 months from now, maybe at the end of the year, depending on how far you plan out. But I'm just an advocate of writing out some of the things that you want to do and figuring out how to get there. I know a lot of I'm going to call them white, but the coaches, the big coaches will tell you to plan out things 5 and 10 years in advance. And a lot of times we can't see that far. But I am just an advocate of sitting down every Sunday and writing out what your plan is, what you'd like to do. Whether you do it or not, that's completely up to you. But just figure out what would you like to do? What type of goals would you like to make? And try to figure out just the small steps to do it every single day.
Mm,
And a lot of times that's really, really hard for people. That's why I'm here. And I know I'm only one person, but if you need help creating that plan, I can do that. I can help you create whatever that plan is when it
mm,
relates to how to form a career in journalism, how to have engagement with the media. That's what I do all day long. I love it. I'm very good at it. So please reach out to me. I'm starting small. I have a couple of really great clients, so
yeah.
I'm not as needy. I don't need to make money off everyone. But if you need me, I'm here.
Oh, such great advice. And
That's it.
being diligent is challenging. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. And
No,
so
no, no, it's not
I love
easy.
that.
And I want to help you too, Amanda, because I see you. One of our Detroiters, Rebel Neil, was on Good Morning America yesterday.
Was that
So
because
I,
of
I
you?
just see you on national platforms, girl. National
I received that.
platforms.
I accept
Yes,
that. I raised myself
national.
to that vibration. I am here for that. I am so grateful for you, Darralynn. Like, just everything, like your energy, your style, your grace, your knowledge, your wisdom, the way you approach life, the way you approach your business is so admirable. And I want to be like, I've learned so much today, like even just like like writing down your weekly goals. Like I'm an advocate of this, but for the last 3 weeks, I've been like, what do I do with my hands? Like, oh yeah, the basics. Let's get back to the basics, which is
But
planning it out.
Amanda, it's only gonna get worse for you, girl, because you're just gonna grow and get bigger, bigger, bigger. So whatever challenges you're dealing with in regards to organization, try to knock those down this summer because the
Yes,
fall is gonna be hot for you, girl. The fall and the winter, you're gonna be so freaking busy. No,
yes.
when I listen. These organizations like doing things disciplined. These are our challenges because God is going to reward us. So you better get ready, girl.
I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready every single day.
Get ready.
I say this every week, but I'm saying it to you. This interview was timed perfectly, exactly for where I'm at in my life, my business. And I'm so grateful for your message because it came straight from your mouth, like into my heart, spirit, and like, yes, ma'am.
Thank you
Yes,
for this.
ma'am.
Appreciate you.
I am so grateful for you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the
Yes.
Let's Glow show. It's Amanda Sweet. And real quick note, we are doing our content day for the revamp this Saturday. So if you've been thinking about stepping out, putting yourself in front of the camera, this is a beautiful, safe space and community to do that. So I'll put the link below. I'll put all of Darralynn's links below. Read her stuff, follow along. She's amazing, fabulous, and beautiful, and spits wisdom all of the time. I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much. And we will see you next week. Bye. I just got to find the button.